Good morning, my name's Kelly. I am currently at home where I live with my husband, 2 kids, 2 dogs and a cat. I'm just getting ready to head off to work. It is 6:05. So it's 6:15 now. I've just hopped in the car. I am a nurse on the inpatient unit at Ashgate Hospice, and I am working a long day today, which is 7 till 7:30 tonight. So I'm going to take you along with me and give you a bit of an insight into what we get up to. Arrived safe and sound at work. I'm going to head on in, get ready and head to handover. So we've had handover. I'm just heading onto the ward now. I've been allocated to work on admissions this morning, so I'll be attending ward round at about 9 o'clock to see who is on the waiting list to come in. And then we'll look at getting them hopefully over to the ward sometime this morning. Whilst I wait for that, I tend to go around and see if anyone else needs any help with washing their patients, getting people up and ready for some breakfast. So I'll go and get started. Whilst waiting for ward round, I'm just helping out the other teams of nurses that have got patients this morning, grabbing things like cream that they need, helping check meds. We also had an admission quite late last night, so I've just been on the computer using our system 1 to update care plans and make sure everything's in place for him. I started here at Ashgate about 11 months ago now. We're in November. I started in January after several years of working at the local hospital. It was quite emotive for me coming here. We lost my father-in-law here in 2018, and since joining I have spoken to lots of staff who have also got personal experiences of the hospice, and I think it's those experiences and that understanding that make us really good at our job. So I've just completed the ward round with one of the sisters on the ward. We've got one admission coming in today, so I'm going to get things prepped, including the bedroom and the paperwork ready for her coming in hopefully later on. She is coming from a little way away, so hopefully she has a safe journey in, and we'll see her when she arrives. So we've had a slight change of plan. We've found out, unfortunately, that our admission has had direct contact with someone that's tested positive for COVID. So we've managed to relocate her room to down the lavender corridor, which is where we nurse anyone that's got anything potentially infectious. Although she's not tested positive yet, we do like to err on the side of caution and not put anyone else at risk. So she will stay down here. We will COVID swab her when she arrives and wait for the result. But in the meantime, I'm just going to make sure that we've got all the correct PPE to wear and that her room is prepped and ready for her, which I think it about is. So I was just called to check a lady's syringe drive that had run out. She has had some extra medications overnight, so I'm going to go and have a chat with the doctors and see if they want to increase anything in that driver before we pop her a new one up. So I've just spent about an hour off the ward attending a debriefing meeting about a patient that passed away last week. One of the really great things about working at Ashgate is the support that we get from our colleagues, doctors, everyone really within the team. So we've had some time, myself and some other staff, off the ward with some of the medics to discuss through what happened, things we're pleased about, things that we could have perhaps done a little bit differently, try and learn from every experience, and just to talk about how we're feeling and make sure everybody's okay. There were a few tears shed. We try and make this place as positive as we can, but obviously there are sad days. Everyone is a big family here. It really is one Ashgate, and everyone's happy to chat to you, discuss anything, answer questions. There is no stupid questions, and everyone is really happy to get stuck in and teach and help and support. A big part of what we do at Ashgate is medication. We spend a lot of time doing medications, and a lot of what we use is classed as controlled drugs, so it does take 2 nurses to sign them out, take them to the patient. Can be quite time consuming. Contrary to popular belief, not everyone that comes to a hospice comes here to die. We do have patients that come for end-of-life care, but we do also have people that come in that have got a terminal illness for symptom control. So we use a wide range of weird and wonderful concoctions to try and get these symptoms under control and give people the best possible quality of life that we can. So one of my favourite parts about working at Ashgate is the patient care that we get to give and the time that we have. I've previously been expected to look after lots of patients in other areas of work, and at Ashgate the patient to staff ratio is much lower, and that gives you the time to be able to really get to know your patients and really look after them and their families, and it is so rewarding and such a privilege to look after people during some of the most difficult times of their lives. The team here at Ashgate are incredible. I feel really lucky to work alongside some wonderful human beings, and people that really do go the extra mile to make the difference to their patients and their families, and it's a privilege to come to work and work alongside them. Back in the drug room, trying to get things organised for the admission that came. She did arrive a little bit later than anticipated, so it's been a bit of a crazy hour just getting her settled in and getting doctors to see her. She is quite poorly. She is somebody that's come for end-of-life care, so our priority is getting medications on board, getting her nice and settled and comfortable, trying to reduce any anxiety that she's got and any pain, and get a family here to be with her, and try and support them as best we can as well. That is, again, something that I really enjoy about working at Ashgate, is that we don't just look after the patients, we do our utmost to look after the families as well, and offer support to everyone sort of involved in their care as best we can, whether it be us nurses or whether it be the family support team, spiritual supportive care, lots of different people that we can utilise and that can help families come to terms with what's happening, and spend sort of the last hours, days with their family member. As I said, unfortunately she has had contact with COVID, so that's made things a little trickier, and we are wearing full PPE in her room at the minute. I have swabbed her, so we will just await those results and keep our fingers crossed that she is negative, so that we can allow visitors, as we would do normally, to come and be with her. It is 7:25 and we are nearly done for the day, just finishing off a few final bits while the sister hands over to the night staff.
My name's Stephen and I'm one of the lead physios at Ashgate Hospice.
Hi, I'm Hannah Botsford. I'm a healthcare assistant.
I'm Amy. I'm the individual giving officer in the fundraising team at the hospice.
Hi, I'm Colin, Ashgate Hospice Ambassador.
Hi, my name's Rajaya Ullah. I'm one of the hospice specialty doctors at Ashgate Hospice.
My name's Michelle Gross. I'm the retail area manager here at Ashgate.
Hi, I'm Wendy and I'm the finance manager.
I think the best thing about working at the hospice is definitely the people, and I know it might sound cheesy, but everybody just makes it a really special place to be, because you know that each individual person is so dedicated to providing our care.
Working in a hospice is the best thing I can imagine doing. There's a lot of laughter. I don't mean fun as in making light of what goes on. There's a lot of laughter and good humour.
Working at Ashgate is not really like working at all. It's such a nice, relaxed, easy atmosphere with wonderful people to work with.
It's amazing. It's the best place I've ever worked. They're just amazing people, really.
We've got people from all different walks of life. You're never without someone for support. The people at Ashgate are compassionate, and I think you'll find that right the way up to the chief exec. I was having a bad day. The first person that I saw was Barbara Ann in a meeting, and she actually came over and gave me a hug. When it comes from the top, it cascades all the way through. I'm really pleased and proud that I get to do this as my job.
Very friendly, very supportive. It's like being one big happy family, really.
There's a lot of people all working together for that same goal, and it's not to put money in tills, it's to ensure that we're giving the best possible care to our patients and their families.
When I first started at Ashgate, I'd already suffered with depression and anxiety. I was worried what they'd think of me, if I was capable of doing my job and capable of looking after vulnerable people. They knew that I was capable of that, and they gave me the needs to support that.
I didn't think companies kind of existed that were so caring and compassionate. A company that actually wants to make sure that you're happy, that your well-being is thought of. How would I be able to be a mum and work full-time in finance? And looking forward to the future, I can see now as she gets older in school, I can be part of that playground mum life. And that means so much to both of us.
When I became a mum, or even from when I became pregnant, it was actually quite a scary and difficult time because it was at the start of the first lockdown. When I had my little boy, I was able to have 6 months off. That was my choice. I wanted to have that time with my son. And then I came back, and it's been really important to me actually to continue breastfeeding my son. He's actually got a medical condition. Me being able to still do that with him is really important to me.
You can say sometimes that you're having a tough day and people won't judge you for that. That makes such a difference.
This isn't me just creeping out in front of a camera, but I have always found management to be both supportive, and that management are quite positive about looking at that and supporting you if you have ideas, of supporting you in trying to bottom that out, to try and find how you can bring that to life within your work.
If I could choose one word to describe what it's like to work at Ashgate, I would choose the word personal, because I feel like I've got a personal connection with all my colleagues, but we also have a really personal connection with all of our supporters as well.
Compassion, but compassion in a way that they've been flexible, allowing me to still continue my journey as developing myself as a clinical educator, and also carry on still doing my job here as a specialty doctor.
I think it would be satisfying. If I could choose two, I'd say deeply satisfying. I love my work, and I genuinely feel privileged to do what I do. So although I'm extraordinarily grateful for being paid, would I do it if I wasn't paid? I'd volunteer when I don't need to be paid, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's a big part of my life. I really love it.
For anyone that's interested in working for Ashgate, I would really advise you to apply.
Fill in that application form, come and join us, because we are a great bunch, we're a special bunch. Come and join us.
Diane, very quiet person, very sincere. She'd never let you down. I used to tell her every day that she was beautiful, and I mean that every day. She worshipped her grandchildren and obviously our children. Very family orientated, and just an absolute best wife and mother in the world. We were married 45 years. Diane was 18 when I met her. I was 19. For me, I knew after 1 week that I would marry her. Diane had a very rare illness. It's called multi-system atrophy. It's an illness what affects part of your brain, and it's called the cerebellum, and it affects all your movements, the things what you do naturally, like talking, eating, walking. It gradually closes your body down. When the consultant told us that, in his opinion, he thought it were MSA, he said, "This is absolute life-changing. Your life will never be the same again." I think we all just cried for a year, to be honest. We couldn't accept it. You just hope that they're wrong, that they made a mistake, and that it's not that. We thought, well, are we going to spend next few years being like this, or are we going to try and get on with life? And we were able to talk about what the end was going to be like, and what Diane wanted. The GP, I believe, got in touch with Ashgate, and that's when Lucy came in. They were talking to the professor who was with Diane, who was treating Diane, and got to know the illness inside out, so they knew what parts of the body to try and stimulate and try to get moving and that. She's very upbeat, she's very determined, She's always positive and she's always kind with the words. And on top of that, she's a really good physio. Really worked hard. Really did with Diane. It was just fantastic to think that somebody's actually doing something for her, and it made Diane feel a lot better because she thought, well, I've got somebody on my side now that understands. We believe that with Lucy's input and all the other care and attention what Diane got, we're certain that Diane's life was extended by about, say, 2 or 3 weeks. I'd like to say to Lucy just to thank her for making Diane's life a bit more brighter, more cheerful. She was a big part of Diane's life towards the end. Hello, Lucy. Hiya.
Hello.
You alright?
I'm not bad.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
That's me.
Sorry, I can't give you a hug.
I know, it's alright. I know, I understand.
But no, it's lovely to see you again. How do you feel coming back here?
It's a bit strange. Brings back a few memories.
Yeah.
Just the actual driving across, actually, same routes and that. I think the biggest worry was just how it would end. Fortunately, it was dead peaceful.
Diane is someone who I think I'll always remember because, yeah, we used to have a lot of fun.
A lot of banter.
There were a lot of banter, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And just how determined she was.
Absolutely.
So determined.
Yeah.
Such a privilege to work with Diane, and I think to be invited into kind of, you know, a family when you're going through something so traumatic and upsetting, it is really a privilege for us who work in this setting.
Do you remember when she couldn't even stand up and she couldn't even pick her head up? And then through working with you and Karen, she managed to get her head back up, and she actually did stand up once or twice for a few seconds. And that. But one thing what does stand out, I don't know if you remember or not, but it was about 2 or 3 days before Diane passed away, and we were talking outside Diane's room, and I remember your exact words. You said, "I'll never give up on her." I remember that. And we went into the room, didn't we? And she heard your voice, Diane, and her eyes were closed and she couldn't move, but she just like blinked. And you know, you said, she knows I've come in. Like,
yeah.
You know, you know what I mean? That's just absolute, you know, even at that late stage and that, she's still got like that feeling that you were still trying to help her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, you don't forget what you've done for her and that. And like I say, as a family, we'd absolutely do anything what we can for Ashgate, because we are Ashgate. I don't know what we'd have done. The only place to be was to be in here. Just, yeah, it brings back memories, but good memories.
You know, she worked in care all her life, may it be with the elderly, may it be with kids and young adults with learning disabilities, and that's the kind of thoughtful person she was, and she'd love to, you know, just make people happy. And I was lucky enough to, you know, call her my wife eventually. We don't know if she had the actual cancer while she was pregnant or not. She had problems like with her, just aches and pains. They did an emergency CT scan, and then that's the point where they found some areas of concern on her pancreas. She went to Doncaster Hospital and they confirmed that it was stage 4 pancreatic cancer. We were told there and then it's terminal. The statistics are that 95% of people who get it are at least over 80 years old, not 37 when Lindsay were actually diagnosed with it. So, you know, they didn't even suspect anything. Lindsay, the kind of character she was always bubbly, always, you know, putting other people first, and I don't know how she coped. She kept so calm. One minute, you know, we've just welcomed our son Isaac into the world, and he was like 1 when Lindsay found out. It's just so hard that all we ever wanted were our own family. You know, we got our family, and then cancer takes her away from us. One minute you're living life normally, and then the next, you know, it just completely comes crashing to pieces. Lindsay always said to me, always make sure I look after Isaac, and that's what I do. Lindsay came here originally just to have her drugs changed, but unfortunately she took a turn for the worse while she was here. But obviously while we was here, we got married here as well, because something we always wanted to do, but we didn't think we'd have to do it this quickly. Let's do something nice. Lindsay were happy here, getting dressed up, putting some makeup on. Everybody was here who we wanted to be here, and that's all that matters. It may have kept her going. It may have kept her alive a bit longer, having something to look forward to, because a month after, to the day, exactly a month after, that's when she passed away. It wasn't just the wedding day, it was prior to the wedding date. Whenever we wanted anything, whenever I asked for anything, whenever Lindsay asked for anything, nothing was too much. And obviously Karen played a big role in that. On the wedding day, she just looked after Lindsay to make sure she were all right, because obviously at that stage, the cancer was taking its toll. She couldn't walk, she was in a wheelchair at that point, she had, multiple blood clots. It's hard to put into words the difference what somebody's made. Are you alright? Nice seeing you again, you alright?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'd give you a cuddle, but...
I know, we'll have to have a virtual cuddle like this. There we go. That's our virtual cuddle.
Yeah, thank you for everything you've done for me and my family and that. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. It was such a privilege to be part of Lindsay's life and your life, if only for a little bit of time, but just to make that special for you guys.
I know everybody does a great job here, and I don't like to single people out, but you were obviously there for pretty much the entire day when me and Lindsay got married here at Ashgate, just making sure that she were all right, and myself, my family and Lindsay all appreciated that massively, because without the support from yourself, and everybody else at Ashgate, that we wouldn't have been able to get married.
It was just a beautiful day, and I feel really honoured that I was able to be part of that, along with the nurses and all the family. Yeah. And how is Isaac?
Yeah, he's good. He's doesn't realise what's happened yet,
no.
But he's happy. That's the main thing.
And it's telling him about Lindsay, isn't it? When he's old enough to understand and seeing all those pictures from the wedding. And
well, that's it. We have a nighttime routine where I've got like a mural kind of thing with loads of photos and that on the wall. He always says night to his mummy as he walks to bed at night. My job as his only parent now is to make sure that he knows how good of a person his mum was. She's the most amazing person I've ever met in my life.
You know what, Simon, you're a pretty amazing person yourself. But look at a great job you're doing now, and none of us can turn back time, and we all wish Lindsay was here, but you're holding all that together, and you're creating all those special moments, like you said, of the memorial. For me, it's important that you and Isaac were able to spend time with her, and rest of your family to be able to come and visit. She
always spoke very highly of, everybody, give my love to everybody here, and, I look up to you now as, somebody who's made a positive difference in my life, and my family's life, and I'll be forever thankful for that. You're just an amazing person, and I think a lot of hospices just don't get the credit they deserve. Just thank you, and I really mean that. I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for this place.
Mark was my elder brother. There's only a year difference in age, and we were very, very close. Mark was the most genuine, kind, loving person. He never judged a book by its cover. He was very open, but the biggest thing about Mark is he had a heart of gold. Mark was 59 when he was diagnosed. He was diagnosed on the 2nd of August 2018 with MND. Mark said just before they came to give him his diagnosis, he was hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And unfortunately, we got the worst. Mark's prognosis was, I'm sorry, Mark, you've got MND. There is no cure. You've got about 2 years to live. Ashgate for us came out of the beautiful blue sky. What Ashgate gave to Mark, and in turn to me, was something out of this world. It was care, beyond anything that we'd ever experienced before. There's people that care, and then there's carers. And we felt, excuse me, that someone had took us into their loving arms and had got us. And they appeared at such a time when Mark was really deteriorating. And then Helen came into our lives. I got a call. She said, "Hi, my name's Helen. I'm calling from Ashgate. How's Mark? Would you like me to come out and see him?" And I just felt, just never met this person, just a voice. And I was like, "Please, could you, come out and see Mark?" And she came out within days, arranged a time. And she walked into our Mark's house, and it was like a welcoming family. It's like we'd known her and all our lives. And it was like she'd known us all her life too. Again, so caring, sincere, and can I say loving? That's what we felt most from her, as though she actually loved us. How are you?
Oh gosh,
you look amazing.
Thank you. You do too.
You instantly picked up on how we worked, how Mark was, what type of guy he was. Why I was there, why we were so close, why, just everything. You had that, you just like took it all in a very short space of time. I think the first time you come, it wasn't quite a long visit. I think you were there for about 2 hours.
Yeah, because it was quite intense as well, wasn't it? Because it was kind of, he wanted to get his point across, how he wanted to progress, basically.
Yes.
And this is what he wanted now, and this is how it's going to be.
Yes. And just orchestrated it into such a simple and wonderful thing. Oh. And you cared. You absolutely cared. You can't fake what you do. And I don't know if I ever told you this before. Walked back into the room, and Mark looked at me, and Mark, we looked at one another, and we both similarly said it together. Earth Angel.
Oh gosh.
And you absolutely are. What you did for my brother, and in turn for me, I haven't got the vocabulary to tell you how grateful and thankful that you, our Earth Angel, came into our life.
That's lovely. Thank you. I don't know how to reply to that, to be honest.
And then, I don't know if you can remember saying this to me. Cheryl, you can step back now from being a carer and step forward again as Mark's sister.
Yeah, and time was precious. We know the disease that Mark had was,
yeah,
it was aggressive, and time was short, and it was meant to be your time.
Yes.
And not doing, chasing things and things. That's what the team was there for.
Yeah.
Everyone else played the part, and you were there to look after Mark.
Yeah, but you pulled it all together. You pulled everything together. I don't know where we would have been without you and Ashgate.
That's how I would want somebody to respect, treat, care for somebody I love. So I just think if I can do that for other people.
You never stopped. You never stopped caring for us. You were wonderful. You are wonderful.
Thank you. That's really, really kind.